All right, I'd like to do a 10-hour review of the Branson 3015H. And I have more hours than that on the machine. I have like 11 and a half right now, but I felt like 10 was a good number, and it would give me the right amount of time to get familiar with the machine, because the first hour you're just like, how do I use this? There's just a lot there that I didn't know about, and I'm going to keep learning about it. I guess I'll just go into why did I get the 3015. Actually, I was going to get a smaller one. I was going to get I think it was like the 2048. And then I realized that was too small for what I wanted to do. And then I looked at the 2515, and that was going to be a while before they had those in stock. And I was like, I started to realize, based on doing some research, I was going to need a bigger tractor. But I just couldn't afford something really big. And then I had weight constraints with my trailer. I've got a 7,000 pound 20-foot car hauler that I use, which gives me around a 5,000 pound capacity. But I've loaded a little bit more because the tongue takes some of the weight. But they had the 3015 in stock, and I was like, I went and I checked it out. I had the guy, the dealership, kind of give me a review of it and tell me some of the features, and I got the weight specs on it, and I knew that if I put water in the tires, I'd still be under my weight limit. And I was like, I knew I needed the bigger tractor because it had the lift capacity. This model has around a 2,200 pound lift capacity at full height. I think down lower, just down at the ground, it's much higher. It's very strong. I've had to respect how strong the loader is, because I don't want to twist the loader arms or balloon one of the cylinders. So it'll definitely do whatever you want it to do. You just got to be careful with how you treat it, because it can just destroy itself if you wanted it to. So I got the bigger tractor. I'm super happy I got the more horsepower than the 2515. It's just a little bit more. If I had gotten a 35 horsepower, I probably would have been very happy with that as well. I've realized that you can't, unless you just really need a subcompact, having a good horsepower compact tractor is not a bad thing. I really like the hydrostat. It's maybe some people are doing a lot of groundwork. Maybe they feel like the hydrostat's a little underpowered. But for what I'm doing, which is heavy loader work, grapple work, going back and forth, the hydrostat has been perfect. It's had plenty of power with four-wheel drive in low range. I can just kind of ease on the pedal and just crawl through whatever I want to do. It'll dig. I'll go through some of the attachments and why I got that, my thinking process around that here in just a minute. Fuel economy has been great. I can't complain. I do run it at pretty high RPM, right around 2,900 to 3,000 RPM, just at the outer edge of the green area, so that it burns off any of the unburned exhaust that goes in the DPF system. So, and it gives you get better hydraulic flow and more power to the loader and everything when you're doing that. You burn a little more fuel, but I don't mind. But I can't, I think that's been great. As far as, I love the steering. It's hydraulic steering. There's no linkage between the steering wheel and the actual, any of the tie rod ends or anything on the front axle. So steering is great. Being able to use the loader. I did have the dealership install the third function, which, if you're not familiar with that, allows you to manipulate a hydraulic cylinder on the front, which is for a grapple. But there's tons of attachments that will use that function that you can use with the third function installed, and I felt like that was a very important piece. I kind of had to wrap that in as a package deal when I purchased the tractor. I was originally going to get a backhoe. I was going to get the 2048 or whatever, and then the 2515 with a backhoe. And then I started researching, and I realized that I could do stumps, which was my primary intention for having a backhoe. I could do the stumps with a stump bucket, but I needed more loader capacity. So that's why I was like, stump bucket's around $500-600. I can get a bigger tractor for less price than I would getting the backhoe that I might never use. So I felt like getting more tractor, more loader capacity, and a stump bucket, even if I had to take my time, would be a better use of the tractor instead of getting a smaller tractor with a backhoe. Because I think I was originally looking at like that 2048 or whatever with the backhoe, and I realized I would have been out here forever trying to do all the loader work and rip all the stumps out, and it would have never done the job. I would have been very disappointed. Just because even the grapple probably weighs 300 pounds, maybe 250, and that takes out the loader capacity. And if the smaller subcompact tractors only have 1,100 pound lift capacity on the loader. So the other reason I went with Branson is these tractors weigh a lot and they have very high lift capacities, and they're very simple. After I went and talked to the dealer, I read online, they're very easy to work on. There's not a lot of computers. There's only one computer that monitors the inflow and outflow of the DPF system, engine RPMs, stuff like that. It doesn't actually control the actual functions of the tractor. A lot of that is either hydraulic or just with, some electrical and solenoids and stuff like that. So I felt that was a huge plus because I'm a big do-it-yourselfer, and if I don't have to go to the dealership for something, I'm not going to do it. Unless, of course, there's stuff with a warranty that it just needs to be replaced. I also felt that Branson's warranty was pretty good. A lot of the other manufacturers have a good warranty. I just like Branson's, and my dealership was very close to my house. It's right around 25 to 30 minutes from my house, towing the tractor. The other ones were much farther, and if I had a problem, I don't want to be driving an hour, 2 hours to a dealership. So that was the other huge motivating factor in going with the Branson, was the fact that the dealer was so close. If I had some other brand dealership closer, I probably would have looked at them first and then, done my thinking process that way. All right, so let's go into my thinking process about why I wanted a tractor. And this was I've been thinking about, what I could use. I originally was going to buy a skid steer. And then I started to realize that they were very expensive. The payments on them were going to be expensive. And to get one that wouldn't need a ton of maintenance and wasn't abused was going to cost me a fortune. Way more than what I paid for the tractor. So, maybe I could have gotten something cheaper and then gone way out of state and traveled a long distance to get it. But I didn't have the cash on me at hand to maybe purchase a cash deal, and I didn't really want to do financing on used equipment like that. I probably could have done more research on financing and looked around, but once I started researching what I wanted to do, I realized that a tractor was actually going to be much more cost efficient. For one, it was going to be the Swiss Army knife that I needed. And then I started to realize what I could do with it, because there's so many implements. And then when you get a tractor that has the quick attach function for the loader, it'll fit any of the skid steer attachments, buckets, forks, you name it, anything that skid steer uses, that quick attach mechanism, you can put on the front. And then with the third function, I have all the hydraulic features as well. So there was cost, performance, what I could do with it, definitely factored into me starting to look at tractors. I also really looked at renting. I talked to people on these user groups online. There's like, I use Marketplace a lot, Facebook Marketplace. There's people that advertise rentals and stuff like that, and they just wouldn't respond. I'd be like, come give me a quote to fix the yard. Give me a quote for, let me rent your skid steer, and I need these attachments. I was like, I need a rock bucket or rock bucket. I need a bucket with teeth, and how much for a couple of days. And a lot of them just wouldn't respond. And then I'd go to the bigger rental places, and it was like $1,000 for 2 days, and they couldn't even guarantee I could get a loader with teeth on it. So I was like, I'm going to spend tons of money renting equipment, and I'm going to get it for a limited period of time, and I have to get done everything I want to get done in that period of time, and then it's gone. The money's gone. And I just started adding up all the stuff. I'd get quotes to bring in dirt, to haul off stuff, and the more that started to add up, I was like, I'm going to get nickel dime to death. I'm going to spend $4,000 or $5,000, and I might not even have a yard. I have other projects on the other side of the yard I wanted to do. So I just I started adding all that up, and I was like, it's not going to be worth it. So I really that's another reason I really started looking at tractors. I started looking at, kind of ballpark finance rates. And the financing on tractors is really cheap. Especially, I started looking at older tractors, and they're very similarly priced with high hours for a new tractor. No warranty. If it breaks, the cylinders get tore up, you're out thousands of dollars for reworking stuff. And parts are hard to find, especially on older stuff. Not all the time, depending on the manufacturer. But I just was like, if I buy a used tractor, I'm going to get killed repairing the thing, because it's going to cost me a fortune. And I was like, new tractor. So, financing was great. Where I went had 4.5% standard rate or 0%. I didn't have to put anything down. I did. But the financing was good. The prices were really competitive, and the monthly payment was so low. I was like, I'm not even going to complain about it after I put money down. I think my monthly payment's like $230. I'll do another video on all the numbers. If you guys are interested in that, seeing how much I paid for the tractor, why I did things I did, and I can go into all that in more detail in another video. But I felt like the tractor was definitely after all that research, was going to be what I needed. And so far, I've been right. Even in the attachments that I picked. Even though I'd never done this before, the research paid off. I did use a buddy's older 50s model Ford tractor with some implements. And just being able to use that and seeing what I could do with those implements. It was a pulverizer and a big 6-disc harrow that I used. I was like, okay, the tractor is going to be what I need. So let's go into implements. I specifically picked out implements that, for one, I could get a good price on. I knew that they would do what I needed them to do. And I felt like based on the combination of those implements, I could do the task at hand, which is I had a pile of debris with roots and rocks in it and stumps. So I knew I had to have a way to sort through all of that. I had to have a way to move the dirt. And then I had to have a way to get the rocks and roots out of the yard. And then I also, eventually, I was like, I need a way to get stumps out as well. I will get a stump bucket for that. But the rock rake has performed perfect. It's been amazing for getting rocks and roots and all kinds of stuff out of the debris, out of the dirt that I've been moving around. So the rock rake, 10 out of 10 for, you know, usability and what you can use it for. I knew I needed a way to sift through a lot of that heavy material. I'd have to pick up stumps. So I started looking at grapples. The grapple has been worth every single penny. I mean, I could not have done this job without the grapple. I'll put it to you that way. So that was like $1,100-1,200 for the grapple. The third function is right around $1,000 installed, so I had to have that as well. And let's talk about the bucket. I need a heavy lift capacity. The Branson has that. It does not come with teeth on the bucket from the factory. It's a smooth bucket. But I didn't want to weld on teeth because I didn't want to alter the factory, I guess, alter anything on the tractor that would have been factory on it in case I ever decided to sell it. So I was like, what's the options? The dealer had what's called a Piranha bar. It's a bolt-on, quick attach tooth bar that you just slide on there and bolts into the open bolt holes on the loader, and that bar has been flawless. So 10 out of 10 for the Piranha bar. Huge, you know, you can't dig without it. I don't know how you can dig with these things with just a flat bar. You're just kind of gonna go in there and not do anything. So if you're doing groundwork, do anything but picking up, you know, junk out of horse stalls or moving just mulch, stuff like that, get teeth or Piranha bar or something like that. So all those attachments have done exactly what I wanted them to do, plus things that I didn't really know that they could do. Whereas, you know, the rock rake was great at clearing debris and underbrush and trash out of that area over there. And, you know, that was, it could use a little bit more weight, but it performed flawless for those tasks. So all of those attachments have been, those were good choices, well researched. I'm very glad that I purchased those. And they were almost, the prices on those attachments were almost what I could have bought a used one for. So I was like, buy new, get it from the dealer. They wrap it all into the financing, and I go home and start working on the yard. So that was definitely been a huge bonus. All right, let's get to the fun part where we talk about modifications. I don't know about you guys, but having a tractor or a car or anything, I always want to modify it. Not anything crazy, but you know, some people like aftermarket wheels and tires on cars. They like, you know, different intake kits, or they want to redo the exhaust. Or for me, the tractor was pretty much good out of the box, except I did add water or ballast to the tires. That was a super cheap way. It cost me $25 of parts for that, and then I put a little ammonia in there to lower the freezing point. And if I want to, I'll just drain it out and start over this winter if I, you know, feel like I need to get some other fluid in there. If I need to go to like a windshield washer solution, I can do that. That's fine. Let's talk about tractor stance and stability. The only modification that I want to do, and I will do in the next month or so, are some wheel spacers for the rear axles. Some people have put stuff on the front. I've read issues with four-wheel drive system. I'm going to put it on the rear. I'm going to get 3-inch aluminum. They make aluminum or steel spacers that you can put on these tractors. That is going to be a huge, I feel a huge upgrade, and definitely the next modification that I'll be adding to the tractor. I'll talk to the dealership, make sure there's no issues with warranty or anything like that. But I do feel like a little bit wider stance is going to be a huge bonus, especially for the kind of terrain that I have and what I want to do with the tractor. I'm not used to the little bit of movement that the tractor does have, which is probably fine. But I also know that working with the grapple and bucket with very heavy loads and the tractor is off camber a little bit, I don't want to get into a situation where something I pick up inadvertently, you can't, could cause the tractor to move in a direction I don't want it to move in or tip over. So that's my only complaint. We'll talk about some of the cons of a tractor maybe versus a skid steer, and this will go into a modification or something that I'm going to build, is I'm going to add a camera. I'm going to get a backup camera system or something so that I can see the front loader without bending over the steering wheel. My back has been, I guess, kind of hurting because when you're sitting as far back in the steering, in the seat as you typically do, you can't see the front loader. You have to go to the side, or that's my only complaint. Is with a skid steer, you are right there. You can see what that bucket's doing. You can see what the grapple's doing. You have great visibility in a skid steer, whereas the tractor, you're like, what am I doing? I gotta lean over and look, and it drives me nuts. Doesn't mean wish I'd got a skid steer. Absolutely not. Totally happy with the tractor, but I'm probably gonna put a screen, a big monitor or something here on the front. It's pretty hot. Probably right here. Just a little suction mount or a glue and Velcro mount or something for a screen so that I can have visibility of the front bucket and I don't have to keep looking over. Probably something with a wide angle will work perfectly. Other than that, I don't really have any cons or complaints or other modifications I want to do. As far as attachments I'd like to purchase, stump bucket is going to be on the list. I'm thinking about either making one. I can get a plate, like a 1/2-inch steel plate, quick attach plate, and then weld on some angle iron and steel to make my own stump bucket if I want to, but I think I'll just buy one. It's $500-600, and they're only like $1,100 to get a grapple with it, which I feel would be pretty handy. That way you can just go down in there. Once you get it uprooted, you can grab it and go on your way. So I think that's next on the list. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was a little long. I talked about a lot of different things, but if there's any other topics, anything else that you guys want to hear about, please let me know. And hit that like button and subscribe. I'm going to be coming out with a lot more content around the tractor, getting the yard done. So we've got a lot of stuff coming up, and I'm having fun doing it. So I hope you guys enjoy the content. See you guys.